Tatu Tarumayi Nari Yata Patramayo Mriga Yatra Patramayo Mriga Evam Bhutani Madhavan Evam Bhutani Madhavan Isha Tantrani Viti Bo Isha Tantrani Vitibo Yata Tarumayi Nari Yata Patramayo Mriga Evam Bhutani Madhavan Isha Tantrani Vitibo Yata Tarumayi Nari Yata Patramayo Mriga Evam Bhutani Madhavan Isha Tantrani Vitibo Yata Tarumayi Nari Yata Patramayo Mriga Evam Bhutani Madhavan Isha Tantrani Vitibo Yata Tarumayi Nari Yata Patramayo Mriga Evam Bhutani Madhavan Isha Tantrani Tarumayi Nari Evam Bhutani Madhavan Isha Tantrani Vitibo Patramaya made of leaves Nigaha Anano Evam thus Bhutani all things Maghavan O King Indra Isha please no O sir by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. O King Indra, as a wooden doll that looks like a woman, or as an animal made of grass and leaves, cannot move or dance independently, but depends fully on the person who handles it. All of us dance according to the desire of the Supreme Controller, the Personality of Godhead. No one is independent. Responsibly, please. O King Indra, as a wooden doll that looks like a woman, or as an animal made of grass and leaves, cannot move or dance independently, but depends fully on the person who handles it. All of us dance according to the desire of the Supreme Controller, Personality of Godhead. No one is independent. Fourth. This is confirmed in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adilila 5.142. Ikali Ishvara Krishna Ara Savabritya Yada Yechena Chaya Se Tajte Karan. But Krishna alone is the Supreme Controller, and all others are his servants. They dance as he makes them do so. We are all servants of Krishna. We have no independence. We are dancing according to the desire of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But out of ignorance and illusion, we think we are independent of the Supreme Will. Therefore it says, Ishvara Brahma Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadya Govinda Sarva Karana. Krishna, who is known as Govinda, is the Supreme Controller. He has an eternal, blissful, spiritual body. He is the origin of all. He has no other origin, for he is the prime cause of all causes. Brahmas and Gita 5.1. Om Vijnanatarandasya Gyananjana Sadakaya Akshun Vidikam Jima Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Mano Vishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Sarvarupam Ganayam Dadanti Swadadanti Tandevam Shri Guru Shri Tapada Kamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavanscha Shri Yukam Sargajatam Sahaganadita Shri Vishakam Tamscha Hare Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Shivanu Sutahiri Paramahani Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindhu Ganepacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nityananda Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravai Charine Nirvishesha Sunavadi Pastachari Sitarine Tivachanam Brahma Magati Vekapatmanam Shri Dear Krishna, I humbly seek the blessings of the assembled Vaishnavas that I'm able to speak some words of relevance which are chaste to the text and to the purpose of Srila Prabhupada. Translation again. O King Indra, as a wooden doll that looks like a woman, or as an animal made of grass and leaves, cannot move or dance independently. It depends fully on the person who handles it. All of us dance according to the desire of the Supreme Controller, the Personality of Godhead. No one is independent. So here we have the great devotee, actually, Vritrasura, covered demon, giving instructions to Indra in order to incite him to kill him. His title is actually entitled Vritrasura's Glorious Death, because it's true that the devotee does have a glorious death, because we know as Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj said, the Vaishnava never dies. For everyone else, any non-devotee, death is a great, it's a great embarrassment actually. You go through your whole of your material life, seeing that as all in all, trying to accumulate so much wealth, prestige, or even just trying to enjoy it in some ways. But as you go through the way the material situation has been created, inevitably we lose the ability to enjoy more and more. Therefore, you see in older people, they're trying to enjoy through their, their family, their children, their grandchildren, and in this way they're trying to enjoy some extended sense gratification, but they're not capable of actually enjoying as they were able to in their youth. And despite how much good they've done for society or for other people, or how much wealth they've accumulated, or how much knowledge they have, then old age will come if they're fortunate in some sense, they don't die beforehand. And in this way they will begin to lose their mental capacities, they'll begin to lose any physical aspects of their body they were perhaps proud upon. And in the end, we have it's a pitiful situation. But for the devotee, the death is glorious. Because ultimately, in the material world, young people are looking forward. Only for so long does this looking forward actually happen. There comes a point when people start to look backwards, they're reminiscing. Because we get fed many lies about what is going to be available to us for us to enjoy in material life. And so we're looking forward to this as we grow up. And as we get older, we haven't really experienced it, but we maybe got closer to it in our youth, so we're looking backwards. But for the devotee, they never stop looking forwards, because ultimately they're always getting closer to Krishna. We see the example of Bhishma, great devotee of Krishna. He's described as one of the Mahajans, the great personalities who we should follow, who give the essential teachings on what is religion and dharma. And physically his death is not very pleasant. His body is been impaled by so many arrows. It's described as like a bed of arrows. But nonetheless, so many great personalities, so many sages, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself, Lord Krishna, come and visit him on the battlefield. And here he gives very, very elucidating and very deep commentaries. He explains his realizations from the heart to his grandson, King Yudhisthira. And in this way, his death is glorious. So coming back to this verse, Vritrasura is describing to King Indra how everything within the material world is directly under the supreme control. It is under the control of Krishna, either directly or indirectly, through Krishna's agency, through Krishna's external energy. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Daiva Yesha Ganamayi Mama Maya Pratyaya, that this divine energy of mine, which is referring to the external energy, it's still divine, who's coming from Krishna, is insurmountable. Therefore, by absolutely no means whatsoever can we come across it apart from Krishna says later, Maya Metam Tratite. Mame Vaye Prapadyante Maya Metam Tratite. Unless we surrender to Krishna, then it's very, very easy to work on. Therefore, no amount of austerity, no amount of accumulation of knowledge, no amount of pious works can ever make us free from the intense bondage that the material nature has over us. In this way, Vritrasura describes that we all dance according to the desire of the Supreme Controller, known as independent. Again, Krishna says in the Gita, Ye tamam prapadyante tamsta taiva bhajamyaham mama bhakma rupmatante nushapata savashaham. As all surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. Everyone follows my path in all respects. So we see here that no one is independent of the control of Krishna, whether it's through his external energy or whether it's his internal energy. According to how much we surrender to Krishna, then he becomes personally involved. We do have a minute amount of free will, but the more covered we are by the material energy, the less we're able to manifest this free will. So we see in all the animal species of life, very, very little opportunity to actually make genuine decisions. All you're doing is just following the propensities of eating, sleeping, mating, and defending, like a bacteria. There's no comprehension of any sort of bigger aspect of his life. It's just finding some glucose and subdividing and creating more bacteria. There's no and the same through all animal species. And for this reason, the animal jivas who are currently in an animal species that do not accumulate karma, because there's not any conscious decision making going on behind the reason they're acting. So although they do have free will because they're part and parcel of Krishna, they're not able to manifest it due to their intense material covering. As we become less covered by the material nature, therefore becoming, as we get into the human forms of life, our ability to use our minute amount of free will becomes manifest, and therefore we have a greater responsibility, and we accrue karma in the human form of life, because, well, as described, so many things are preordained due to how we've acted in previous lives. Therefore, the execution for free will is somewhat difficult. Like if I take birth in a certain family who are all of this mindset, for instance, even in a material example, they'll say, well, if someone is born into a family of people who are engaged in criminal activity or engaged in alcohol abuse or something, it's very likely that the child will then similarly also begin to act in the same way. Therefore, how much free will do they actually have if they're being put in this situation because of the karma? And it's true that because of our karma, we get put into this situation which will incline us towards a certain path. But it's described that our overall karma is like being on an airplane. Say we're buying an airplane ticket to go to Dubai. Now, this is our free will. So initially in some previous lives, or earlier in this life, we've created the activity which is buying the ticket to Dubai, and then we get on the airplane. And once the airplane is in the air, there's not much we can particularly do to actually change what's going to happen. However, how we act within the airplane itself is within our control. For instance, if we're very rowdy and we're acting in ways which are not within the laws of how to act within the airplane, then upon landing there may be police there. Whereas if we are very friendly and amenable and perhaps we befriend the person beside us who is actually a wealthy businessman who will support us in our endeavours, then when we land in Dubai, then the situation that follows is much more favourable. So there is minute independence of the situations that come to us, we cannot control, but how we react to them is within our control. But moreover, when we surrender to Krishna, then we're not under the same stringent laws of karma as the non-devotees, because Krishna becomes personally involved, as quoted earlier. This material energy, including all the laws of karma and cause and effect, is completely insurmountable. But when one surrenders into Krishna, then it's easy to cross beyond. So Krishna then gives us a personalized medicine. He gives us what we need to have. Any reactions we need to have at a certain time in order to purify us. It's described, it's like, because it's not that any reactions we're getting are traceable as cause and effect. Karma is very, very complex. So we can't see, I'm suffering now because of this. It's very difficult to work out. It's described that, I heard a nice analogy that when we're putting our items, we go to the supermarket and we buy maybe some milk and some bread and some vegetables and fruits, and they go through the conveyor belt one by one. We don't necessarily put them in a plastic bag, or not a reusable carrier bag, in the same way. For instance, you wouldn't put bread at the bottom of the bag and then milk on top, even if they get scanned through in that order. You would first put the milk because it's heavier, then put the bread. And so this way Krishna knows that we would not be able to deal with the amount of suffering that we're actually due. Similarly, when we come to devotional service, we realise that you think you're doing grand, but then slowly as you engage in the practice more, you uncover many deeper aspects of yourself which are a little bit discouraging. Seriously, I think in that way. I never knew I was that self-centered. I never knew I was so envious. I never knew how much I wanted to be in control. But Krishna doesn't reveal all these deeper aspects of ourselves which need purified at once, because to do so would overwhelm us and probably leave us, because I don't know what I would do if I was aware of all my faults. So piece by piece, because Krishna wants all conditioned souls to come back to him. And this material world is described in some sense like a school, like a training ground. We're here, in one sense, it exists to facilitate our desire to enjoy separate from Krishna. But the ultimate purpose is to bring jivas back to Krishna. And it's described as one of the reasons why Mahaprabhu events says for so long, pure love of Godhead has not been bestowed upon the fallen conditioned souls. Therefore, what's the purpose of this material creation? From Mahaprabhu comes our thought and Srimad, just giving out Krishna Prem Krishna. And Namo Mahavadanya Krishna Prem Pradayate Krishna Chaitanya Namani Guru to the same. It's just the most merciful incarnation, because Krishna Prem is just coming from. Lord Nityananda is described as even more merciful than him. He's so intoxicated by the love of God that he cannot distinguish between who is eligible and who is not eligible. Therefore, in this age, there's no, it is most auspicious, despite the many external and inauspicious things that are happening in Kali Yuga. Sisi put a time for session. Sisi listen at and therefore the minute independence, because it says in the verse, all of us dance according to the desire of the Supreme Controller, no one is independent. So with a minute little bit of free will, all we can do is pray to dance according to the desire of the Supreme Controller, Sri Krishna. Because otherwise, we're being forced to dance anyways, but we're very ungainly and awkward in our dancing. Or like a puppet, it says a wooden doll that looks like a woman, or an animal made of grass or leaves. It's awkward. The external energy is forcing us to do things. We get controlled by our senses, we get pulled in this way and pushed in that way. Just through this, accumulation of desire and hatred. We want this, we don't want this, bogey and all. But Prabhupada prays on the Jalabita. A very, very beautiful prayers. He's coming into Boston. I wish I had the actual translation, because I'm not to say it so nicely as he does, but we've seen the condition of all these Westerners so engaged in the mode of ignorance, the mode of passion. He doesn't know how he's going to be able to speak, so he's praying to be able to give him the ability to speak in a way which will be relevant to them. And he says, my dear Lord, please make me dance. Please make me dance. I'm your puppet. So fundamentally, he doesn't stop dancing with the Lord, but he does so willfully. No one is a better dancer than Krishna. And therefore, the dance according to his will is the supreme perfection of this human form of life. And therefore we have an imperative to ourselves, dance towards Krishna, dance according to Krishna's will, and to also engage others in this supreme perfection of life. Which are some of the questions, comments, clarifications, criticisms.
Thank you for a very nice class. I'm wondering, I like this point that nice analogy with the shopping bag, and how Krishna doesn't give us something heavier than we're able to handle. But in the moment, maybe it does feel heavier than we're able to handle, and maybe our mind gets in the way and we make it into such a big catastrophe, whereas in reality it's just that somebody drank my milk. So maybe you could share a little bit how to handle in that situation. what to do.
It's very true. Little things can. Because oftentimes little things are sort of just the straw that breaks the camel's back. There's already some underlying mentality. We can have days where our job is good, everything's good, and then externally things are bad. People say you can't do this, you have to do this service instead, and people there's no breakfast, and you don't mind at all. Whereas other days, it's a bloodless thing. It's windy, and you just get so angry. And therefore, it's not the external situation so much. It's not at all. Actually, it's the state of our internal realization and our connection with the Holy Name. But there's a very nice phrase, don't mind. Using English, don't mind. But it's very applicable, just don't mind. The mind is very stupid. Really is. Well, stupid is maybe a harsh word, but it's not very intelligent. Intelligence is higher than the mind. The mind is described to be like a cow. A cow is very simple. A load of goodness. You can bring a cow anywhere, there's grass, eat. So really we just want to, rather than trying to understand the nature of our whole internal psychology and whatnot, if we just engage fully in devotional service, particularly in our Bhakti Yoga, and just be so occupied with doing service, then these other things don't matter so much. Not that we can ignore the internal psychology and we need to look after this state and whatnot, but a lot of times I got a very interesting realization. It was a long time ago. Before I was a devotee, I was watching there was one gentleman taught me piano from a young age. He was very, very, very nice, a very good teacher as well, particularly young children. He was teaching my younger sisters, so they were 6 or 7 at the time. And I was there. And I was also trying to learn how to teach a little bit, so I was sort of watching. And one of my sisters, she couldn't play, very simple, just beginner piano piece. They're very simple, it was the rhythm she couldn't get, it was in 3 time. Like devotees, you can't play that with the so that's and so I was practicing at home with her, I was trying to teach her, and I was spending ages going, 1, 2, 3, just kick, come on, it's easy, it's like this, explain there's 3 beats, you go like this. But she's 7 and just couldn't get it and wasn't interested, and she kept playing it in 4 time. I was getting a little bit. And then she went and played to the piano teacher and she played it in 4 time. He said, oh, well done, you're good. It's all right. But then, he moved on and sort of kept playing that. And you never really focused on it. And then we did different pieces, there was different rhythms a little bit, Still very simple, just piano things. And then went back to this piece a couple of weeks later. She plays it perfectly in 3 time. And there's a great potency that sometimes we don't need to directly address the issue. This is a mundane example, just by playing other sorts of music we naturally get better at this. But devotional service is so potent that if we're fully engaged in service and always agitating our mind, we can improve our service. Then we might not need to focus so much on the service. It's nice. So if there's I'll stop here. Srimad Bhagavatam key. The Prabhupada key. Need I go and bring them in?
His grace, Pancha Tattva Prabhu ki jai.